Just like that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA.
What's good, basketball fans? Buckle up, because we're diving into a massive wake-up call for the WNBA. In the blink of an eye, everything can change, and it just did. Caitlin Clark, the league's golden goose, is sidelined for at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain. This is the first time she's missed a regular season game since her sophomore year in college.
The Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight. Caitlin Clark's out 2 weeks.
It only took a few seconds. A sudden fall, a collective gasp, and everything changed. Caitlin Clark was supposed to be untouchable. The girl from West Des Moines who lit up arenas with logo threes, no-look passes, and a fearlessness that made her feel larger than life. She was the phenom who rewrote NCAA history at Iowa and was already reshaping the WNBA's future before her rookie season had even fully begun. But on a warm summer night, during a highly anticipated game between the Indiana Fever and the Las Vegas Aces, Clark hit the floor and didn't get up. Injuries are part of sports. But this didn't feel normal. This felt like a nightmare the league wasn't ready for. Within minutes, Twitter, ESPN, TikTok, all flooded with disbelief. Was it her?
Fouled out at 6, and it was the ticky-tack fouls, and again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job. Not sure if that was actually a foul, but again, that's for the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier.
Knee? Her ankle? Something worse? No one knew for sure. But one thing was crystal clear: this wasn't just an injury. This was a turning point. We haven't seen this kind of reaction to a WNBA injury in years, said sports journalist Holly Rowe. It's because Caitlin is more than a player. She's a movement. This is the story of how one fall shook the foundation of women's basketball and revealed what really goes on behind the scenes in the WNBA. And what the stars said after will make you see this league in a whole new light. Before she even stepped onto a WNBA court, Caitlin Clark had already become a household name. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's a spectacle, said Stephen A. Smith. You tune in just to see what impossible things she's going to do next.
This is the first right there, but you know what? Give it back to her. Let her take it again. Yep. She's hot. And Brittany Griner, noticing that hotness, tosses it back. Another triple. Wow. And then watch this. Canada getting the steal right there. You think she's going in? Nah. She's on fire from the triple. Pull-up three. Came in today shooting 6 for 20.
At the University of Iowa, she wasn't just breaking records. She was breaking viewership. Her games pulled numbers that rivaled NBA playoff broadcasts that end the 2023 NCAA tournament alone. Her Elite Eight duel with Louisville drew 2.5 million viewers. The Final Four matchup against South Carolina, 5.5 million. And the championship game versus LSU, a staggering 9.9 million, making it the most watched women's college basketball game in history. The Caitlin Clark effect was real. Jerseys sold out. Arena tickets vanished in minutes. Suddenly, teenage girls and grown men were mimicking her form in parks and gyms across America. When she declared for the WNBA draft, it felt like a cultural event. She's not just here to play, said Fever GM Lynn Dunn. She's here to bring everything up with her. The fans, the energy, the expectations. But with that spotlight came pressure and some subtle resentment. Not everyone in the league was thrilled by the hype. There were whispers, frustrations, even jealousy. Then
7 after the free throw from Clark. Later, Clark got it in control. Looking, waiting for Aaliyah Boston to get in position, who gets it done. Fever up 13. Just over 2 minutes ago, Fever up 11. Sophie Cunningham, Kelsey Mitchell, 4-3. Mitchell had 25 on the night. Fever win at 99-82. And here's Alexa Philippou. She caught up with Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin, big bounce back.
She got hurt, and the entire tone of the league changed overnight. .it was a routine drive to the basket. Caitlin cut left, planted her right foot, and tried to twist her body midair between two defenders. Then it happened. A misstep, a loud thud, and silence. She grabbed her leg instantly. No screaming, just shock. Panic spread across the court. The Fever's training staff rushed out. Opposing players stood frozen. And the crowd? You could hear a pin drop. You never want to see that happen. Aya Wilson said post-game, visibly emotional. Not to anybody, and especially not someone carrying this much on her shoulders. Initial reports were vague. The team called it a lower leg injury, but insiders feared it was serious. Later that night, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski confirmed Caitlin Clark would be out for the rest of the season. That was it. A rookie year filled with promise, gone in a blink, but what followed was even more telling. The first reactions came from the biggest names. Aya Wilson, arguably the face of the league, tweeted, heartbroken, praying for Caitlin. The league needs her. Brianna Stewart posted a photo of Clark in college with the caption, "The energy she brought can't be replaced. Heal fast," number 22. But behind the public messages, tensions were brewing. Some said the injury was a freak accident. Others weren't so sure. Former WNBA star Cheryl Swoops weighed in. Let's be
Back one for you guys. What was working for you so well, especially in that second half offensively?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we just played with a really great pace. I thought we moved the ball. I thought we cut hard, which opened up the three-point line for us. And then we knocked down some shots, but also I thought our defense was really good. So I think it was both sides of the ball, and kind of felt like how we should get back out there and play, every single game. I think 99 points is, probably the most we've put up in quite some time. I think somebody said 59 is the most scored in a second half in, quite a few years now. So proud of our group. I thought we came out.
Honest, the physicality she's taken this year was next level. Players were testing her. Even her teammates had acknowledged it earlier in the season. Every time she steps on the court, it's like she has a target on her back, said Aaliyah Boston. Was it rookie hazing, envy, or just hard-nosed basketball? This injury wasn't just a physical blow. It reopened debates around how the WNBA treats its stars and whether Clark was being protected the way a generational player should be. Without Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever weren't just missing a talented point guard, they were missing their identity. From the very first game of her rookie season, the Fever offense had revolved around Clark. She led the team in both points and assists per game and was on pace to break several rookie records. But beyond the numbers, she was the emotional engine. The spark. The reason thousands of new fans had started tuning in to WNBA broadcasts. Now, the Fever were scrambling. Aaliyah Boston, last year's Rookie of the Year, found herself double-teamed again.
Came out and competed well, especially there in the second half.
Sophie with a double-double, she brings such energy. And yesterday she was telling us how she felt that frustration, that you all were feeling that frustration. So what did you see from her and able to really lead that charge?
I mean, she brings that energy every single day, so really happy for her. She's had a little bit of a shooting struggle, but she comes in and she's the same person every single day. So we all knew she was going to get hot and was due, and that's exactly what she did tonight. And she rebounds the ball well. She just brings great energy. She's all over the floor, diving on loose ball.
Clark stretching defenses. Kelsey Mitchell was asked to step up as the primary ball handler. But the rhythm was gone. It feels like we're adjusting everything on the fly, Fever coach Christy Sides admitted in a post-game interview. Losing Caitlin, that's a blow that takes time to process. And the ripple effects weren't limited to the Fever. Ticket sales across the league were impacted. In cities where the Fever were scheduled to visit, Phoenix, Seattle, Chicago, secondary market prices dropped by as much as 43% within 72 hours of the injury. Broadcast partners like ESPN and Amazon Prime, who had been leaning into Clark-centric promos, were forced to pivot. Marketing teams scrambled. Commercials featuring Caitlin were pulled or replaced. Hulu paused the launch of a campaign that was supposed to feature, perhaps most telling of all, WNBA viewership declined in the immediate aftermath. According to Sports Media Watch, the first Fever game without Clark drew 900,000 fewer viewers than the previous weeks. She was appointment television, said Jemel Hill on her podcast. There's no sugarcoating that. Her absence leaves a void. The WNBA had been enjoying a historic rise, record attendance, record merch sales, and unprecedented media attention. But Caitlin Clark's injury exposed a delicate truth. Much of that growth was being held up by one 22-year-old rookie. And yet, through the chaos, a deeper conversation began to emerge. One about legacy, treatment, and the way we value greatness before it's gone down. Among the first to publicly support Caitlin after the injury were two of her biggest positional rivals, Sabrina Ionescu and Jewel Lloyd. These weren't just peers. They were the players who understood better than anyone what it meant to carry a franchise, to deal with media hype, expectations, and the weight of being the face of something bigger than yourself. Sabrina, who had faced her own growing pains after being drafted number 1 by the New York Liberty in 2020, tweeted something that caught everyone's attention. "Takes one to know one. Stay strong, Caitlin. This league needs your light." It wasn't performative. It was personal. Jewel Lloyd, the high-scoring Seattle Storm guard, added, "She's already changed the game. Her absence doesn't erase that." Behind the scenes, several WNBA guards, including Skylar Diggins-Smith and
excellent passing season as well. Her assist numbers, oh no, Caitlin Clark has yet. So Ryan Howard picks up the foul. Pressure she had on her shoulders coming into the ankle roll one more time, right? That's rookie seasons in WNBA history.
Natasha Cloud reportedly reached out privately, a quiet but powerful show of solidarity. Why did it matter? Because it reminded the world that this league, often wrongly framed as divided by competition or jealousy, was more united than people realized. "There's a sisterhood here," said WNBA analyst LaChina Robinson. And Caitlin's injury pulled that into the spotlight. For all the noise online, the debates, the tension, the players themselves were showing grace. And that grace said more than any tweet ever could. Caitlin Clark's influence wasn't limited to the pros. Her absence was deeply felt by the next generation of hoopers, the ones who had looked up to her as proof that confidence, flair, and skill could all exist in women's sports. Posted a heartfelt video. Caitlin made it okay to shoot from anywhere, to believe in your game, wishing her nothing but healing. Kiki Rice, now a sophomore at UCLA, tweeted, "She's the reason so many of us feel like we belong." Even 8th graders in youth tournaments began holding up #22strong signs, their version of tribute. "She's like our Steph Curry," said 14-year-old AAU player Zara Green in an ESPN feature. When she got hurt, it felt like we got hurt too. It wasn't just the buckets. It was the energy, the authenticity, the joy. Caitlin Clark had made women's basketball cool for a new wave of fans. Her injury became a moment of reflection, but also of inspiration. "This won't be the end of her story," said Juju. "It's just another chapter." As the shock faded, a harsher question emerged. Did the league do enough to protect its biggest star? All season long, fans and analysts had pointed out how physically Clark was being played. Clothesline fouls, body checks, off-ball elbows. And yet, the whistle often stayed silent. "It's like she wasn't allowed to draw calls," said NBA legend Kevin Garnett on his podcast. "That's a problem." Even Hall of Famer Tamika Catchings weighed in. "Rookies take hits, but there's a line. And I think we crossed it with Caitlin." It was a league-wide issue, but Clark had become the flashpoint. Her injury made people wonder if more aggressive officiating could have prevented what happened. Whether the WNBA had underestimated the importance of protecting not just talent, but investment. "You can't market her like a superstar and then treat her like a walk-on," said sports columnist Bill Rhoden. The debate didn't end overnight, but it forced a reckoning. And maybe, just maybe, it set the stage for change. With Caitlin Clark out, a question hung in the air: who carries the torch now? The answer? More than one name. Angel Reese, her college rival turned WNBA peer, embraced the spotlight. Her rebounding dominance, trash talk, and charisma brought fans of her own to the league. "They counted us out," Reese said after a breakout game. "But we're still here." Eric Ogunbo lit up defenses with 30-point games. Ryan Howard took her game to new heights. Even rookies like Cameron Brink and Rickea Jackson started making waves. The league was deeper than people realized. Totally. And Caitlin's absence, though painful, revealed that depth. "We're not a one-player league," said WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. And now everyone can see that. Fans began tuning in not just for Clark, but for the whole mosaic. In a strange way, the injury became more than a medical event. It became a cultural turning point. It forced the WNBA and the public to have hard conversations about marketing versus protection, about fair treatment versus favoritism, about building a league around a star and what happens when that star goes down. This was the league's wake-up call, said sports media strategist Rachel Nichols. Now the question is, what do they do with it? For the first time, casual fans saw the stakes, the emotions, the humanity, and that perhaps is what Caitlin Clark gave the league, even in her absence. Caitlin hasn't spoken much since the injury, but sources close to the Fever say she's rehabbing hard, determined, focused.
Caitlin Clark did not miss a step after being sidelined for 5 games with a quad injury. Are you serious, Caitlin Clark? You'll see why I'm saying that. Let's start you off late in the first quarter. Clark drives, spins, gets inside, gets the and one layup to go. Fever cut it to 6 after the made free throw, and then it was all CC after this. From 33 feet, you know it's good. She's heating up. Bring it up the court. 27 feet. That's easy money. Again. From 31 feet. It's good. Clark with 9 points in 42 seconds. Yes, you heard that right. Fever climbed back and tied it up at 24 apiece. Mid-second quarter, Clark pulls up, nails a triple over Breanna Stewart. Look at them having some.
She's still locked in, said teammate Erica Wheeler. Still shows up. Still supports us. Her recovery is expected to take months. But barring complications, she's on track to return next season stronger than ever. Nike hasn't pulled its endorsement. In fact, they're said to be planning a comeback campaign. And fans, they haven't gone anywhere. Hashtag Clark 2025 has already started trending. This story was never just about a torn ligament. It was about the fragility of greatness, the danger of hype, and the resilience of athletes who carry more than just a ball. They carry hope. Caitlin Clark may be sidelined, but her impact very much alive. She forced us to pay attention, to invest, to believe. And when she returns, and she will, the league better be ready, because she won't be alone. She's bringing an army with her. Like if you learned something new. Comment if you think the WNBA handled this fairly, and subscribe for more real basketball stories every week.
Performance yesterday.
What stood out most to me, Amina, was that Caitlin Clark, even being out for those 3 weeks, did something on the basketball court that I've never seen a player do in the WNBA, and that was that stretch that you were just talking about, that 38-second stretch where she came down and hit not just 3 threes, but 3 bomb threes. And she did it in a first quarter where the New York Liberty had an 11-point lead, and Indiana needed her to come out and do that to kind of get back into the game. Her passing was on point, her scoring. Steph White took her out a little bit more, gave her a little bit more rest than we're accustomed to seeing from Caitlin Clark. She still played 30 minutes in the game, but that she had no rust, had a performance like that, and you could see the joy on her face, especially in that interaction you saw with Breanna Stewart about how happy she was to be back on the floor.
Yeah, missed those 5 games with a quad injury, but definitely looked like she did not miss a step at all. Clark tied her career high for 3-pointers with 7. Elsewhere